Let's start with some data though. 4 key trends that are critical. We need to keep our eye on these all the time. But to be honest with you, with so much data floating around out there, sometimes we're quoting really obscure or uncritical information when what the consumer needs to know are basically 4 messages and the data behind them. And let's start with number 1 right away. And that is that context is always key to the data points at hand. We are the only ones who can help consumers decipher all the data that they are seeing, whether it's in the financial news, whether it's on social media, whether it's even conflicting posts and newsletters and mailings that they're getting from realtors in their supposedly same marketplace, because you and I know that marketplaces are very highly differentiated. In the same market that I call home, Las Vegas, there could be some neighborhoods up, some price points down, some property types in great demand, and some property types are sitting around. Builders are on a tear here, but in other areas they aren't. So context is always key. But deriving one message from all that context is something I hope all of you are able to do. And here's the message I hope that you will take away. I'm going to show this to you nationally, but again, in almost every market, here's what we need to be telling people. In the big picture of the marketplace today, there are plenty of sales going on. Now, there aren't necessarily plenty of sales for every agent who is not working the market in the way the market is presenting them opportunity. But the most important thing that we need to be able to find, reference, and remind ourselves and others is there are plenty of sales that are happening across the nation. Let me prove to you why I believe there are plenty of sales not only happening, but to be had. So let's zoom right in. Number 1, the National Association of Realtors every month puts out a report on existing home sales. You probably get this as an email. You probably have seen it. This is a bit of an eye chart of a table that they pull out every month. But what you really care about is always in the bottom left-hand corner. What is happening versus last month? To be honest with you, what is happening versus last year really isn't even a big deal. Why? Because nobody can sell their home in last year's market. So the idea that we're up or down versus 12 months ago doesn't mean anything. We really sell a home within a market that is a 30, 60, 90-day influenced market. What's happening with buyers and sellers in the last 4, 8, 12 weeks matters way more than what happened 52 weeks ago or 520 weeks ago, which is sometimes what in these crazy headlines about the market is the lowest in 10 years. If I could resell my home in the market from 10 years ago, then I would care, but I can't. I have to deal with the pressures of customers and clients and competition in the last 90 days. So that's why I always look at this and I always say, what's it really doing versus last month? Now, it's off a little bit from last month, but 2% is statistically insignificant. But if you look at this, there's about 4 million homes that the projections show that we will sell this year. And you might think, oh my gosh, looking at this chart, that's a lot less than before. But I want you to look in the upper right-hand corner. It's the center of your screen right now. These are called existing home sales. This is what NAR tracks. They track existing home sales because that is what is most likely to be found in MLS data. But you, as a real estate professional, know that's not the only homes being sold in a marketplace, which is why I always have to add in the new home sales, new construction. And when we look at new construction, we are on track to sell, first of all, more new construction than at any time in a very long time. And secondly, the most in months. So right now, we're on track to sell almost 750,000 new homes in the United States. What's interesting about that is as existing home sales have lagged, new home sales have been under a lot of pressure. Builders have ramped up. Plus, builders have financial ability to offset some of the mortgage situation that's out there. So they can obviously offer incentives that soften some of the blows of the increases. So there's a lot of demand in new construction right now. But basically, all I want you to do is do some math. If you do some math in your head, we're on track for 4 million existing home sales, almost 750,000. We might hit 1 million before the end of the year of new construction. Basically, my friends, it's 4.8 to 5 million sales this year. 4.8 to 5 million sales. I want you to write this down. Write this down. Ready? 5 million sales a year is called normal. That's been the average. I've been in the business like 30 years, and basically that is the average number of homes that sell. Now, again, not all the homes are going to be in MLS, but you know how to sell new construction. You have great relationships with builders in your market area. And if there are 4.8 million homes, then basic math tells me that 13,000 are selling a day, 548 are selling per hour, and 9.1 are selling per minute. This is no cause for dismay. If 9 homes are selling every single minute, then that means in the last 15 minutes that we have been in this session, 150 homes have sold. People are selling homes. You might be saying, I don't even know why I'm going to stay in the rest of the session because there's too many homes being sold per minute. But I do hope you'll hang with me for another 45 minutes. Bottom line is, there are sales being made. Is every agent making those sales? No. Is every buyer or seller participating in those sales? No. But plenty of homes are sold for us to call this a very normal market. Now, does it look scarier because of precipices from earlier points in this year as well as last year? It might. But again, since we don't have a time machine, we can only sell in the market we exist in, and we can only sell in the market we project. And the projection is we're on track for a very normal sale. So any agent who wants to have a good year has as much opportunity as any other year, as 2017, 2018, 2019, 2015. Have just as much opportunity as those years in which we were experiencing a decent market. We were happy with those markets to create good outcomes. So the first and most important thing, first and most important message from the context of the national data is to know that the market is functioning fine. You need to do this at the local level as well. You need to basically go into your MLS and do the exact same thing. What are we projected to do this year? Plus the new construction, which may or may not be in there. So you might need to find some alternate sources of data in your marketplace, or just pick up the phone and talk to a couple of your builders. And the bottom line is you need to be able to tell prospects and your colleagues and other salespeople that there's nothing wrong with the market. There's different strategies to pursue, but the market is chugging along just fine. So that's the first and most important message and data point that we need to keep our eyes on as we go into the fall.